Over the last week, I had the pleasure of playing perhaps the biggest PlayStation 5 game of 2024, Rise of Ronin. Thanks to Sony for providing me an early preview. I got to play about the first 2 to 3 hours of the game, and this video is really a preview and my impressions from those early stages of the game. I won't be talking about the story or spoiling anything for you guys. The very first thing you do when you start up the game is character creation. You can freely customize your character's visual features, their face, body shape, hair, voice, and a lot more. There's actually a lot of different features to customize here. If I'm being honest, I was caught a bit off guard. I wasn't expecting the character creation to be so detailed. Once you're playing, you can further customize the look based on the gear you're wearing. The first section of the game is linear, and this is really by design. Think of it as the game giving you training wheels to learn the ropes. There's quite a bit to learn with Rise of Ronin's combat system. The initial section lasts about 30 to 40 minutes, and by the end of it, you should know the basics of the gameplay and combat. But as I said, just the basics. There's so much to this game when it comes to the combat, and it does require a little bit more skill than games like Ghost of Tsushima. The difficulty in the combat is sort of what you would expect from a Team Ninja Soul-like game. By the end of this first linear section, I still felt like I had a lot more to learn. There's just so many weapons, fighting styles, and ways to take down your enemies. The game does use stealth extensively as well. It's sort of like Assassin's Creed in that way. I personally like stealth gameplay, so whenever given the chance, that's really how I was taking down enemies. Once you get through this first chapter, the linear section of the game kind of immediately opens up. This is a massive open world for you to explore. And at that point, you're pretty much free to do whatever you want. You can follow the main story or go off and really do whatever you like. Go explore the beautiful landscape, go do some side missions. The scale of this game does feel big. Once you do get thrown into this open world, there's still a lot more to learn, more gameplay elements. You slowly get introduced to the open world mechanics, which do remind me of Ghost of Tsushima and a little bit of Assassin's Creed as well. Maybe even a mix of Zelda Breath of the Wild with that glider you get early on in the game. There's also horse mounts to make your land travels faster, although I didn't get far enough to get a horse yet, and it did seem like you can customize your horse a little bit as well. The open world has countryside towns, open fields, and cities to explore. When you're not following the main story mission, you can go off and do side quests. There's little villages and towns for you to liberate, kind of like Assassin's Creed. You can customize your longhouse, which is, you can think of that as like your home base. There's also mini games along the way, and I'm sure I missed a ton of other stuff during my first 2 to 3 hours. The point is, there's just a lot going on with this game. There's a lot to do. Rise of Ronin also has some core RPG elements. You do bond with other characters in the game. You can progress your relationship with these characters. There's also choices you make that will have real effects to the game. During one of these main story missions, you fight a boss named Gonzo. At the end, you can choose to kill him or spare him. If you do spare him, he actually ends up joining you as an ally, and that's someone you can fight alongside during future missions. So, should you be excited about this game? For sure, you need to be excited. My first impressions are really positive, and I'm looking forward to extensively playing and covering this game closer to the release window. Rise of Ronin is not a graphical stunner like Ghost of Tsushima, but it's rather impressive on the gameplay front, impressive on the depth and the sheer number of things that you can do in this game. If you enjoyed past games from Team Ninja, you'll like this. It's, after all, their most ambitious project yet. If you enjoyed games like Elden Ring and Ghost of Tsushima, then again, you'll really enjoy this as well. So that's it for my preview and first impressions of Rise of Ronin. As I mentioned, I'll be extensively covering this game closer to launch, so make sure you're subscribed. And also drop some comments below with all your questions, all the type of coverage that you would like to see. I'll be sure to read up on the comments and answer them when I do my final review that comes out in a few weeks.